Hey guys, welcome to the replay and thank you for watching. Welcome everyone. Let me get my camera set up here. Hi. Let me know where you guys are watching from. And I will introduce myself. I'm Lindsay Gramont, the Homemade Mommy. You can find my blog posts at homemademommy.net. And I blog about real food recipes, nutrient-dense, all kinds of foods and nutrition with Weston Price. And also you can learn about how to make your own beauty products. Hey Jamie. And yes, when you comment, please also put a little dash in your name so that I can actually call you by name so we can kind of get to know each other, because otherwise your name is like, JJ Wright 527, and that's kind of hard to comment on. Hi Amy. Hi Alicia from Fort Worth. Hi Susie. Welcome everyone. Hi Kimberly. Yay. Okay, so you guys can, if you're new to my scopes, please type in the word new, and you can click over here and swipe from left to right, and either of those ways will help you see a little pop-up that kind of shows the title of my scope, and it will show you my profile if you scroll up a little bit, and you can click the little plus sign to follow me so you can catch all my scopes. Yay! And you can also now share this with your followers, and if you are just coming in because someone shared with you, then please type in the number 1 so that I can welcome you too. Hey new, hey Kelly. And if you're new, please type in your name so that I can get to know you. Hey Oily Mom, awesome, thank you for coming. And if you want to follow me again, if you're new to the scope, you want to follow me, just tap on the little number or just swipe from left to right, and you can scroll up a little bit and you'll see a plus sign, and you can follow me there so you can catch all of my scopes. I'm going to be scoping a little later about some essential oils and emotions that came up around competitiveness and what really do you have the right kind of friends around that are helping to nourish your soul and support you. So that's going to be coming up a little bit later. So right now we wanted to talk about real food lunch ideas, because how many of you guys have kiddos going back to school this week or next week or the week after, and you're kind of scrambling? It's like been the summer and you've had your kiddos at home and you can think about lunch last minute and you can make whatever next Monday. Yeah. So is this top of mind right now? Lunches? Yay, 3 in school. Wow. Okay, next week. I know, is everyone sad or kind of happy? If you're like guiltily happy, then just like put in your like celebration emojis. And if you're sad, you can put in your sad face. Bittersweet. Yeah, I agree. That's a good way to describe it. Sad. I know. Homeschooling mom of 4, so you got your kiddos there all the time. Both, yeah. So, it's bittersweet, but no kids. If you have no kids, type that in too. But you can still share this with your followers, because I'm sure that people who are following you might have kids and this might be relevant to them. So you can share with your followers by swiping from left to right. Is this left to right for you guys? I think it might be that way. And then we can see how many folks we can get in here for this topic. And if you are new to Periscope and you're here on the replay, you can also tap for hearts. So everyone in here right now can tap for hearts, and on the replay you can tap for hearts as well, and that helps a lot. Oh, no problem, Fermented Foodie. Again, put your name so I can call you by name. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's get started. So I've got a blog post about this, and if you go to my blog right now, homemademommy.net, at the top you'll see Need Real Food Lunchbox Ideas. Click here, and I'm going to kind of go through this blog post with you guys to rehash this, because this post has been up a while, and we're just going to kind of repurpose it here because it's still as relevant today as it was before. And the reason why is that this post is going to help you kind of think about what foods you want to have in the lunchbox every day. And instead of just giving you a bunch of different recipes and a laundry list here, I'm going to help you ask yourself some questions as to what is included in the lunchbox that will help you to do an awesome lunch every time. Does that sound good? Everybody give me a thumbs up if that sounds good to you. So when I first started blogging, way back when in 2009. I was just pregnant and about to have a baby. And then I had my baby, and then I didn't really blog very much because, of course, I just had a little baby. But when I first, started gearing up and doing more blog posts every day, I was posting a little food journal as to what we were eating that day. And it quickly evolved into what I was packing in my daughter's lunch, because I used to work a full-time job at IBM. So my daughter did go to daycare starting at 7 months old. Very happy and blessed to be home with her now. But that was the situation we were in. So I did have to make her lunches. And so I posted, there are literally tons of posts on my blog with pictures of lunch boxes that we packed and links to recipes. So you can go and check out that entire series and get all kinds of ideas. Hey, Jules, thanks for joining. You can click to follow me by clicking on the little number down there and the little plus sign. So I have a lot of posts about our daily lunches. So you can go and check those out. So the first and most important thing for me when packing a lunch is that my blog isn't just about being homemade, it's about being nutrient dense. So we follow a Weston Price diet. Thank you, Jules. We follow a Weston Price style diet, and if you're curious about that, you can check out some of the recipes on my blog. But just to distill it down, nutrient density is key. So you want to make sure that they have a lot of really good nutrients and that not just being homemade. So making stuff out of non-organic ingredients or not local, it's really the most important part. Oh, awesome, Janine. Me too. The most important part is where you get your ingredients. So when starting to take a step back and saying, I want to get rid of processed food in my home, the hardest part is, and the part that's going to have the biggest learning curve, is finding out where to get good products. Things that are organic aren't always better than things that are local, for example, because maybe smaller local farms that are awesome don't want to get an organic certification. And, Jules, this is the complete opposite of vegan, but stay with us here. Weston Price is not a vegan diet. It is a diet full of amazing fats. So there are 3 questions that I want you guys to ask yourselves when packing a nutrient-dense lunch. The first is, did I include plenty of fats? Our children need fats to nurture their brains. They need fats to think, and they really, really need to understand that fat is good for them. That's what's going to keep them full throughout the day. It's what's going to sustain them, and you can either be a sugar burner or a fat burner. So if you are a fat burner and get what I'm talking about, I want you to comment below with the little heart and the word fat, because this is really key for those who follow this style of diet, or even if you follow a paleo diet or a primal diet. Fat burner is where you want to get to. You don't want to be constantly craving sugar throughout the day. And unfortunately, we have been taught that low fat is better, and it really isn't, because God put a yolk in the egg for a reason. God put cream in the milk for a reason. And if you are trying to take that part out of the food, then you're denaturing it, you're destroying how God made it for us. So we're talking about traditional foods here, how we always ate in the past, and that, when you take the fat out, you're frankly adding a chemical, SHIT, storm. I won't say it, but you are going to be consuming some kind of chemicals. So that's not good. And sugars. So when they take out the fat, they got to add in a lot of salt, a lot of chemicals, and a lot of sugar to amp up the flavor. Yeah, don't throw out your yolks, Michelle. How many of y'all are guilty for throwing out the yolk? God would not want that. that is where the most nutrients are. The white is icky. So you want to focus on the nutrient dense parts. So think about that. When you don't want to be in the low fat fad diet phase. That is long since past. Okay. Yes. So Lene, you can get a revamp. It's super easy. So I want you guys to know that the food on my blog is easy to prepare. It is for busy moms. It's got full flavor because we're talking about real ingredients, no chemicals, and it's going to be tasty. Things made with butter and all those good nutrient dense fats taste really good. So you don't need to like add in a bunch of spices and all kinds of things. Yay for the yolks. Okay, we have one converter here. Awesome. So saturated fat, vitally important for kids' brain function and sustained energy. So yes, Victorious Women Magazine is loving this info. Thank you. Thank you. So the second question you need to ask yourself. So the first was, am I including enough fat? The second is, did I include something fermented, a fermented condiment? Now, you're probably thinking, my kid is not going to eat nasty fermented foods. I have a blog post for that. What are fermented foods? And then I have another blog post with 20 kid-friendly fermented foods. So of course, when I first started eating sauerkraut in my house, my child was about 2.5, and I didn't start putting it in front of her until she asked for it. So, but I had to do it. I had to eat it. So first things first with children, young children, is they need to see you doing it. You have to lead out front. So if you're not eating fermented foods, the likelihood of them eating it is probably not very high. So focus on yourself first and then help them come along. Help them to learn, and you as well, that sour flavor enhances all the rest of the food on the plate, and it's a delicious flavor. It's a traditional flavor, and we've kind of lost it. We're either, salty, sugary, or, that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much all we know at this point. Bubbly, carbonated, maybe. Salty, sugary, maybe also like a soy saucy kind of flavor is umami. But sour is a whole different kind of flavor. Maybe like a vinegary, but not quite. So fermented foods are going to add a nice flavor. They're also going to help with digestion. So one little bite of sauerkraut, one bite, has billions more probiotics than any probiotic pill that you can give your child. So instead of teaching them to take the pill as medicine, have them take a bite of sauerkraut. They're going to get a lot of beneficial probiotics that are going to help with their gut. It's going to help to support their immune system, and it's going to make them just a much healthier child. So you don't want to give them dead food. You want to focus on what is the little fermented condiment I can give them. And one of the really easy ways to do that is to make your own homemade mayo or your own homemade ketchup. And I have demos, video tutorials on those and scopes that I've done in the past week or so. And you can catch those scopes on catch.me/hmademommy, and you can find the recipes on my blog. You can also add a little sauerkraut. Again, I don't give my daughter very much. She just needs to take one bite. Now she loves it, and she will eat a whole pile of sauerkraut. But for many years, it was just the one bite. But you have to taste something probably 15 to 20 times to learn to like it. So even you guys who are doubting whether you can eat sauerkraut, what was that question you just had on sauerkraut? Type that back in. Trying to stay on point here, and I'm not catching all the questions here. The brand. So I make my own. Thank you for typing that in. Just homemade mommy with an M, not NAMI. The brand of sauerkraut, just make sure if you buy sauerkraut, and it is expensive to buy. I mean, it's really cheap to make, so please learn how to make it. But if you buy one, just make sure it's not boiled sauerkraut, that it says live cultures or raw, fermented, or something on the jar that lets you know that it is a real fermented food. So to make it at home, super easy. All you need is cabbage and salt and a little elbow grease to pound it down. It does not take very long at all. And I'll show you guys someday when cabbage comes back in season, but you can check out the method on my blog. All right, so if your kid is going to daycare or nursery school or preschool or kindergarten or first grade, anywhere they go, what are they encountering all the time, nonstop? Germs, right? Germs. So giving them a fermented food at every meal is going, yes, you got it, is going to support their immune system. 80% of our immune system resides in the gut. We eat far too much dead food. All of our foods used to be preserved this way. We didn't always have refrigerators, and we got a lot of good probiotics. Now we don't. So yogurt is not enough. You can read my post about that too. Yogurt is not enough. You need to give them real fermented foods with good lacto fermentation going on. Yes, and remove that refined sugar, exactly. Okay, next up, question number 3. So what was question number 1? Does someone want to type it in? And type in what was question number 2 was. Question number 3, did I incorporate bone broth for vital minerals and gelatin? And I know you guys are probably going, what is this lady talking about? But you want to know about real food, I'm going to tell you. So did I incorporate bone broth for vital nutrients and minerals and gelatin? This is going to help them digest their food properly. So bone broth is an amazing food. It is highly economical. So anyone who says that real food is expensive has never made what we're talking about here, okay? So you don't have to buy, Applegate, whatever, or any of those kind of things. You can just do these things and you will be able to give them a very nutrient-dense meal for very inexpensive. So bone broth is one of those amazing foods. It has a nutrient-dense punch. So what I do with this is I cook beans in it. I cook rice in bone broth, and you can make sauces with it. So I try and when I had a younger daughter, I would give her beans and rice. Even today, my daughter took to school some bean soup. And yes, I agree, we do not give kids enough credit. They really just need to see you eating the same thing. So if you don't like these things, then they're not going to eat it either. But really, any child that's under the age of 7, maybe even under the age of 10, doesn't have access to your credit card. You're the one buying the food. If they're demanding crackers and there's no crackers, I guarantee you within a week, a 2.5-year-old demanding crackers and there's no crackers in the house is going to stop asking for it. And it's not going to be that big of a deal. That's right. Yes, you use it daily. So if you add all of those things into the lunches, you're going to be really happy. I do a lot of leftovers in our lunches. Those are the 3 questions. But I'm going to say another thing too. If you are going to be giving them bread, make sure that it's a sourdough bread or a sprouted grain kind of bread, that the bread is treated properly, that the grain is treated properly. And if you can get einkorn wheat, do that. No modern wheat is really healthy for us to be eating because it's not prepared properly. So I'm all about traditional grains. I'm not paleo, but you just need to treat them properly. You need to soak beans if you're going to make them. Canned beans are not going to cut it because they're not soaked and prepared properly, so they're not going to digest properly. That's why you get gas when you eat beans. I'm not a huge fan of Ezekiel bread because it has soy in it. And again, it's processed. So instead, buy some flour. It's very inexpensive. Buy some einkorn flour and sour it, or buy some sprouted flour. I love To Your Health sprouted grains, and I love the Young Living einkorn flour. Or just avoid it altogether. If you can find a good sourdough locally, yes, I do. Go to my blog. Do I have a write-up on this? If you watch the replay at the very beginning, I told you I'm reading from a post that I have on my blog. And actually today in the little green bar at the top of my blog at homademommy.net, it's right there. Need real food lunchbox ideas? Click here and it'll take you right to the post. So it's super easy for y'all to find it. So yeah, the einkorn flour. Einkorn is an ancient grain. If you look at our modern hybridized wheat, it's really not healthy for our digestion at all. It kind of just shreds and just destroys the gut. So grains aren't horrible if you know how to treat them. They do require some effort to do. In our house, I don't have a lot of time to make bread, so we just really don't eat it. We don't eat bread, we don't eat pasta. And my child, for the first 2.5 years of her life, ate pasta a lot. And we just don't anymore, and she doesn't miss it. And actually, when we eat it now, we all kind of feel like we have a brick in our stomach, and we don't eat it very often. But I like the einkorn spaghetti from Young Living, and I like the sprouted pastas that you can get from To Your Health. Sprouted Flour, I think, is the website. Hey, just coming in. Thank you. Welcome, Trudy. You can follow me by tapping right over there and clicking the plus sign, so you can watch the replay as well. So, lunch ideas. We got lunch ideas now. So if you're going to be doing grains, don't do bread every day. Try and give them, I even find that buying the Jackson's natural, organic coconut oil fried potato chips is better to give my child than a piece of, than a tuna sandwich. I'd rather give her the tuna with my homemade mayo, and I put sauerkraut in it too. She can dip those coconut oil fried potato chips, and you can get those at most Whole Foods now, I think, and they're actually coming out with a tortilla chip too. So that's basically what she loves to eat for lunches right now. So ideas. We, a lot of times will make what we call a beanadilla. So it's a quesadilla with raw cheese. We buy raw grass-fed cheese. You can get that at any Whole Foods, or we get it locally here too from Brazos Valley. Again, all of the real food challenges are going to be finding your good sources. It's all about the ingredients. It's not about buy organic cheese. No, it's about finding a really good source for local cheese that you can trust. So we get corn tortillas, organic corn tortillas, and I cook, you can either put them in the toaster or cook it in the skillet with cheese and the beans that I have a recipe for on my site that are cooked in the bone broth. And you can even put in, if your child likes it, spinach. I used to always put that in there, and mushrooms and stuff, just to mess with her so that she knew that we didn't eat things plain, and now she doesn't eat plain things. But, when she was 2 and 3, that was, kind of interesting, but it was a fun experiment. So we would heat that up, and then I would give her some creme fraiche and salsa. So what's creme fraiche? Does anyone know who's watching? I'm going to type it in. Creme fraiche is a fermented type of sour cream that is excellent. So if you've ever tried that, it's a great thing to dip. It's another fermented condiment. Okay, guys? It's like sour cream, but it's different. Tastes very basically the same, but it's just a nice fermented culture. And most of the sour creams out there are not fermented anymore. So again, I'm always thinking, okay, fermented food here. So we do that. That's like a little quesadilla, but it has the beans on it, which give us some of the bone broth. And soup. She loves bean soup. We have a lot of tacos in this house. Every week we have Taco Tuesday, and so she gets leftovers with that from the taco meat. You can make that into a taco. And then any kind of mayo-based salad. So the mayo is fermented. So there's your condiment right there. And I put a little sauerkraut in it too. So either egg salad, tuna salad, chicken salad. We do a lot of that. Yes, creme fraiche, exactly. And you can buy that at the store. Yes, Taco Tuesday, we do that too. Lots of fermented foods you can add to your Taco Tuesday. And I have a post about that too. I don't use taco shells. I just use the corn tortillas. Amy, you're here in Austin. You can get those margaritas, corn tortillas. Those are the kind we use. But I do have a recipe on my site for how to make tortillas if you want to. Why fermented? Check out my post on what are fermented foods and how they're beneficial to your gut. Okay, next up, so all those kind of salads I serve with coconut oil fried chips. Or you can put them on a tortilla, or you can put them in a lettuce wrap, or you can put them on some sprouted bread or sourdough bread as a sandwich. So I also used to do, we don't do this as much anymore, but you could do fried rice. So rice cooked in bone broth with vegetables and meats. I don't know why we haven't done that lately. I should make that again. I actually had that for lunch today, so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, that sounds kind of good. So you can keep that warm in a thermos. And then we have breakfast for lunch. So I have these really awesome pancakes that are grain-free, a recipe on my site. They're grain-free banana pancakes, and they're basically made with bananas and cashew butter or almond butter and eggs and a few other little things just to kind of help leaven them or whatever, but they are delicious, and you can actually make sandwiches out of them. You can spread them with yogurt cheese, so good, or you could even spread them with like peanut butter and jelly as a sandwich kind of thing. Yeah, they are really good. So grain-free banana pancakes on my site. They've got a lot of eggs in them, as well as the nut butter. They taste just like regular pancakes. They are so good. So sometimes I even just give them to her with butter on them, like as a little sandwich with some syrup, maple syrup, because maple syrup is a natural sweetener that is perfectly fine, or honey, raw honey. And just make sure you get real maple syrup, grade A or grade B maple syrup. Don't buy the cheap imitations. And then you can even just throw in some bacon or sausage, and so it's kind of like a breakfast for lunch. And you can even, butter, or, if you want to, even do fermented ketchup for dipping if they like that kind of thing. If you want to make it more, savory instead of sweet. There's also just a fun thing, just doing some kind of a mezzi kind of plate. You throw in hummus or homemade baba ganoush. I have both those recipes on my blog too. Raw cheese, maybe a hard-boiled egg. One of my daughter's favorite lunches is literally just a couple hard-boiled eggs, and I put salt and pepper on the eggs. I just cut them in half and put them in a bowl, like one of those containers, and I just put salt and pepper and apple cider vinegar, and she loves it. So, you can do hard-boiled eggs, some sauerkraut, maybe some fermented pickles, and maybe some, dilly carrots. All these recipes on the blog. And then some snack ideas. I've got a lot of snack ideas on this post. I'm not going to go through all of them in terms of the recipes, but you can go and look at the post. There's some peanut butter bites you can make. There's healthy fruit snacks that you can make at home with gelatin, with grass-fed gelatin, that are unbelievable. They are delicious. How about this? A grain-free granola with nuts and coconut, or coconut flour grain-free blueberry or raspberry muffins. We make them all the time. They're mostly egg, so they're very nutrient dense. How about a fermented applesauce, guys? Yes. And apple chips or apple skin chips. And we even have some yogurt covered raisins that you can make. And some coconut oil tortilla chips that you can make yourself. Homemade banana chips. Popcorn. Popcorn can actually be a very good nutrient-dense snack idea. You can cook it in coconut oil or in ghee. Awesome snack for kiddos. And how about, here's one made with sourdough. If you're big into sourdough, yeah, they're all on this blog post. If you're into sourdough and you have a sourdough starter, there's a recipe on here for sourdough pretzel bites with a probiotic honey mustard. So you get your little fermented condiment and you get some pretzels, which is fun. And homemade cherry pie Lara bars that you can make yourself. Tons of ideas. Okay, guys? So what do you think about all this? Excited? Nervous? It takes practice, but it's a lot of fun to think through these things. So the 3 things you need to think about: am I giving them enough fat to feed their brain? Am I giving them a fermented food? Am I giving them some minerals and gelatin? And new world to you guys. Yay! So I have a lot of posts on my blog from years ago. I mean, this is from 2012, 2013 time frame. So you might have to go back and do some searching. But if you click on just my recipes, you'll see tons of things. And if you are interested in learning more about real food, you can click on the word on my menu bar, the basics, and sign up for a email series that will help you to understand this philosophy and give you some ideas on just all kinds of things about the real food philosophy. So do you guys have any questions? Yes, exactly. Everybody has to start somewhere. So again, this was our journey starting back in 2011 really, was when I started with this full force. And I experimented and I made mistakes, but the only way you learn is to actually start doing something. And so now I'm here, right? But I mean, it took me a while to get to this point. So don't beat yourself up. Start somewhere. Learn how to make one thing and then learn how to make another thing and then keep learning. And you will never regret it. My daughter is very healthy, happy child, and doesn't, have those tears over hunger and being a sugar burner. As we all know, kiddos who are requesting juice and cookies and crackers and ice cream all the time, that's not good. If they're asking for snacks all the time, we rarely ever even eat snacks, to be honest. I give her a morning snack at school, and she doesn't even want an afternoon snack. She just drinks a Ningxia Red. Because her lunch sustains her, and that's what you want to get at, is to food that sustains your children. You shouldn't always be having to carry around food with you everywhere you go. Do you ever have pushback from the school? No, our school has taken this on full force. They love it. They actually have a policy now where they won't allow any parents to send sugar in with their lunches. and they educate a lot on food, and they have now a caterer that comes in that cooks the way that we do. And so now I don't even have to pack lunches all the time, because just maybe a few times a week when they do a vegetarian meal, because my daughter's not vegetarian. She has to have food and fat. And that some of it has pasta and stuff, which we don't really eat gluten-free pasta. But on the whole, they're actually pretty nutrient dense, the lunches they provide, and it's amazing. So they are totally bought into the philosophy. They also use the oils at our preschool and kindergarten, and I don't want to ever have to leave there, but I probably will after this year, because they added a grade basically just for us for first grade, but there's only 3 kids in it. So no, I don't. Why would they push back? It's real food. I don't see why somebody would say your child isn't allowed to eat real food. That would be odd to me. Any other questions, you guys? All right, folks, go and check out the post. You can go to my blog again, homademommy.net. If you want to get my newsletter, you can sign up really easily by texting the word HM News to the number 33444. Again, that's HM News to the number 33444. And I'm sure I will be sending out some of these to come in my newsletter. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.